You know, generally when I play a game, I try to be fair. Especially when I'm reviewing it, do I try to maintain a certain level of objectivity so that I can articulate why some things are good and other things are not as good. But every now and then I pick up a game, and no matter how much I give it the benefit of the doubt, it just wants to throw it back at me and say, no, you have me confused with something a quarter of a halfway to decent. And that just, it strikes a very ugly chord with me.
Remember me? Sure I do. It's that movie with Robert Pattinson. What a strange movie license to acquire for a game, but hey, whatever. Alright, no. Remember Me is a game that came out in 2013 and I skipped it because Animal Crossing was coming out at the same time, and I mean, come on guys, you get to be the mayor. The story takes place in Neo Paris in 2084. Memories have become digitized and are now used as a commodity in society. The technology that makes this possible is called the Sensen, and the game opens with a commercial for just that.
I walked with the other children across town until we were outside of Paris.
I choose to remember every defining moment of my life.
Every day has been our first day.
And then we get to see this.
The future.
I'll give it to you guys. This is certainly a great way to explain a setting. With just these two cutscenes, I already understand that shit is bad, and the reason why. This is Nilin, our main character, and we just witnessed her get amnesia. Clever. We stumble our way into a chamber and suddenly are contacted by a voice that tells us to stuff ourselves into a casket to escape death.
Calm down. My name is Edge. You have to trust me, sis.
I just did, bro, and now I am trapped in a coffin!
No, yeah, fair point. We get more exposition spat at us and enter our first fight. At first glance, Remember Me's combat system seems pretty cool, but it's amazingly bland. It's a lot like the Batman Arkham series, but without the freeform combat concepts of chains and counters. Nilin can create combos using things called pressins. Oh, for fuck's sake. Which apply one of 4 effects to her attacks.
No, please. Hold your excitement.
When I say create, I really mean fill in. In reality, there's only 4 different combos in the entire game, all with preset button combinations that can't be changed, and you can't actually use them when you unlock them. Combos are only active when you equip pressins to them, so to use an entire combo, you need as many pressins as there are slots in the combo. You'll never have enough to have all the combos filled in at once. You'll end up putting all your pressins into your longest combo, since the last 2 combos give you extra points for completing them in combat and spamming that. But good luck finishing one. A fundamental problem with the combat is everything ruins your combo. Everything. You kill an enemy in the middle of one, combo resets. You decide to change targets, combo resets. You didn't dodge over an enemy, combo resets. And hey, you'll only be able to use 2 different combos at a time because of the lack of pressins. Fun. The dodge mechanic doesn't really care either. As long as you dodge whenever you see an exclamation mark, it doesn't matter if you're dodging into the attack, and if you don't press it against certain attacks, it doesn't matter if you're far away from them. You'll get hit. So yeah, combat, not great. Beat these guys up, climb up stuff for no reason, save this kid. Never mind. And finally, we meet a guy named Tommy. Don't get attached, you won't see much of him after this. At this point, we know that Nilin is a memory hunter, a person who takes the memories of others, and an errorist. Clever. The Errorists are a group trying to destroy the Sensen technology and return the world to its non-digital memory status. And then a bounty hunter attacks us. Don't worry, her name isn't important because you never see her again either. And in the struggle that ensues, we hijack her Sensen to remix her memory. Nilin has a unique talent to remix memories, and in doing so can rewire a person's brain. In this case, we're gonna make bounty hunter lady believe the Sensen Corporation killed her husband. So that should help us out. But as I said earlier,
Please.
memory remixes serve as a big plot device and amounts to little more than minigames. Even though you can change the memory in more ways than one, the game doesn't let you move forward until you get the outcome it wants. It's not hard, just tedious having to rewind and fast forward constantly. There's only 4 memory remixes in the entire game, one of them being a repeat, and you're pretty much bottlenecked into doing one specific set of things in each one so you can keep going. And now the slippery slope into madness begins. Our next mission is to...
Your first target's name is Carrie Sheridan. I need some confidential codes.
Oh, yeah, thanks. We meet up with, an informant called Bad Request, who gives us his memory so we can use it to...
It's to tinker away in his ivory tower. Memorize CEO is his wife,
Thanks, man. After...
but he traded his soul for a fat paycheck.
Alright, okay! So after all that, we finally reached the only redeemable character in this entire game. His name is Kid Christmas, and he's awesome. A memory hunter turned celebrity that fights wanted fugitives like he's a pro wrestler. Why is his name Kid Christmas? Because every day with Kid Christmas is as good as Christmas morning. This game has been pretty boring so far, but I gotta admit, this boss fight is pretty fun. Sure, it suffers because of the combat system, but I'm interested in how they're going to use them later.
Oh my god. We killed Christmas.
The name is Lillian. This time, you'll remember me.
The whole world remembers you, dipshit. You're the one with amnesia.
Anyway, we get a shiny toy for winning. It's a gun, but we'll mostly be using it to open doors. Because what else would you use a gun for? And
Terrorist counterattack will begin in just a few minutes.
stop that. After this newscast,
Did I do what he asked? I could have left the city.
Right. After that, we
Had to drain Slum 404's lower levels first.
stop. We go down these stairs and motherfucker, we fight
God damn it! Can I just play the fucking game?
every 5 minutes. Pause box here, pause box there. Hey, stop running down this hallway and talk to me for 2 minutes so I can shout exposition at you. How about more exposition through this monologue? Are you invested yet? Do you understand that we're trying to slow you down? And don't even try to argue that this game is doing anything otherwise. The gun we just got to open doors, guess how many doors were in the levels before we got it? 0. But now there's a door at every corner. But since there's no side paths and only one way to go, getting from point A to point B wouldn't change even if we didn't have any doors to begin with. Let me paint a picture for you. Say I put you in an obstacle course that consists of only a straight line. Pretty simple, right? Now let's say I put down a bunch of doors in front of you, but they're all unlocked. Is it any harder? No, it's just as easy as before, but now it's going to take you longer. Sure, later on in this game, they try to fake a few puzzles, but hey, it's not a puzzle if I can't screw it up. There's no challenge to any of it, and it's only there to make your runtime longer, and that's bullshit. But I digress. So we slug through Slum 404, and
Okay, I'm just gonna put this bit right here so you can see how long it goes for. Let's have a heart-to-heart, you and me right now. If you were playing this game and all the previous, quirks were acknowledged and recognized, and then this happened, you'd understand the quality of the game you're getting into, right? It's also safe to assume that you'd quit, right? Yeah. I didn't.
the rest of the game is pretty much the same spiel. Exposition, wonky combat, padding, a boss fight, and a memory mix. The boss fights aren't really different from the Kid Christmas one, but they're less interesting because they throw in a bunch of weak enemies that try to keep you from landing hits on the boss. And yeah, none of the bosses are established characters, and you never see them again after you beat them. I guess I should mention that there aren't a lot of enemy types in this game either. You got 4 types of regular enemies and 4 types of mini-boss enemies that... This game has a big obsession with the number 4. Let's just fast forward to...
Yeah, okay, enough of the running commentary, thank you.
Oh, so you know. You know how insanely saturated your game is with exposition and padding, and you're gonna make a joke about it. No, that's fine. Tell you what, do me a favor. Instead, take this stick and whack me over the head with it a couple times, because I'd rather you do that to me than put me through this bullshit.
I know what you're gonna say. Hey GC, you're being too mean. It's a narrative-driven game. You can't judge it so heavily on the gameplay, yeah? Do me a favor. Go tell the people that saw the Max Payne movie that they can't judge it based on its movie qualities because it's a video game movie. But I understand the argument. Allow me to provide the counter view to that. First of all, it doesn't matter how good your writing is if your actors can't use it. I don't know about the other languages, but the English voice actors are so wooden and all but 2 of the female voices suck. Just because Edge has a lot of lines doesn't mean his voice gets any less annoying to listen to. Ignore the voice acting then. The writing is even worse. There is no permanence or development to any of these characters. I can't be invested in Edge's cause or even form an opinion about him because he never says anything but exposition. Nilin is always flip-flopping between slowly recovering her memories and not having any at all. And none of the other characters in this game have more than 10 lines and 5 minutes of screen time. I beat this game in 9 hours, so that means that less than an hour of that was spent watching the game introduce a character and throw them away 5 minutes later in a supposedly narrative-driven experience. Not that it matters anyway, since everyone in this game is super one-dimensional and incapable of having any complex thought. Case in point, Our third memory remix in this game is to change an instance of a car accident involving Nilin and her mom. In this memory, her mom blames a 9-year-old, blatantly says, "This is your fault," to her 9-year-old daughter because of a car accident. There is no believable human being in this world whose first words to their daughter after getting in a car accident with them are, "This is your fault." And by the way, how obvious is it that Edge is the bad guy here? For fuck's sake, he basically calls himself a terrorist. The Leapers are established to be crazed people with fragmented minds, but there's one Leaper who's completely aware of everything and then killed off and never explained. Nilin is written to act like a moron. She's constantly questioning if Edge is telling the truth, yet just does what everyone tells her to do, and then she blames Edge for making her do things. No one is forcing you to do anything. Then she feels bad for making some guy kill himself, and I quote,
"Without my memories, I have no choice but to follow Edge's instructions with hollow conviction. I pushed a man to suicide. What else have I done? Worse?"
You literally destroyed someone's brains already, multiple times before you've reached this conclusion. Then she has the nads to tell her father, the creator of the sense and technology, that
the entire world is dying from an overdose of amnesia and false memories.
Now granted, shit was bad to some degree, but it escalated because you flooded a city. You caused panic. You released convicts from a high security prison. You can't just do bad things and blame it on whoever you're angry at. And while we're at it, why is Nilin's dad crazy in the first place? He succeeds in his endeavor to untraumatize his daughter, who doesn't seem very traumatized to begin with, by the way, and still goes nuts. There's no motive. Even if it only gets introduced and changed in the first 2 minutes of us being aware of it, there's no need for it other than to give us an excuse to mix his memories. And after he fixes memories, he decides to support the terrorist ideals. Is that really the message this story is trying to send? Force people to see it your way in order for them to understand you? Was this whole thing written by a sociopathic 14-year-old in high school?
Hey, guess what? Edge is the final boss.
But it doesn't stop there. We enter the Sensen mainframe area, and by the way, if you think I skipped anything, I really didn't. To reveal the story's plot twist.
Just now, Edge is H3O.
No, he's not. He's human. He says so.
Simply humans like you or I.
There are pictures of his face on the news and graffiti. When he contacts Nilin, we see his face. Why would you even put that face there? Nilin can't see the face. That face is for us. This entire time, the game has been lying to us. Your plot twist is a lie. A lie is not a good plot twist. It's an insult to your audience. A lot of people said this game was worth playing for the narrative. What scores did this game get based on that premise? Are you kidding me?
Remember Me is awful. Awful! It's a waste of time for anyone that plays it. It clearly tries to match together different elements from other games together and removes key elements of those features that make those games fun. It's Batman without being able to counter. It's Assassin's Creed without a sandbox and stealth. It's puzzle platforming without puzzles. It's item progression for no reason, and it's padded with a bunch of unnecessary obstacles. The game's supposed strongest aspect is even worse. Padding completely ruins a good narrative. And this is not a good narrative to begin with. Characters are childlike, the story is predictable from the onset, and the whole experience is dead on arrival.
Sure, the music's good and the art is fantastic, but I don't need to buy this game in order to enjoy those. My name's GC, and if you'll excuse me, I've got a better way to spend my time.
But thanks again for watching another episode of Playing Positive. My name is GC, and if you like the video, go ahead and click that like button. If you want to let me know how I'm doing with these videos, go ahead and leave a comment in the section below or above. Who knows what YouTube's doing these days. Got some other stuff on the channel if you're interested. Just go ahead and click any of those two little box video things and they'll take you directly to them. And please don't forget to subscribe. It helps me out and it makes sure you never lose sight of another one of my videos ever again. For better or for worse. See you later, guys.